Mr. Lewis. All right. I hope we're live. Welcome back to ASIS 2017, Dallas, Texas. We're at the ASIS Hub. That's booth 1613. I get almost a three-peat, but let's just call it a repeat here. Mr. Mark Landry of FedEx.com, but part of the Youth Security Council.
Yep, Young Professionals Council.
Young Professionals Council, yeah. And I just interviewed 2 people from there yesterday.
I saw your video.
Weren't they great?
Yeah, they were awesome.
Unbelievable.
Great.
And they're 30-ish. They have all these ideas, and it was really an insightful interview.
It is interesting to see, really interesting about having more females in the executive protection space.
Yep.
And I didn't know that thing that you were talking about related to the Saudis wanting females. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Yeah. And there's all kinds of things like that. Couples.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a male and a female just blended in the background and look like they're walking around. So I'm excited about the females in the space, executive protection, the young professionals. Now, we talk about this briefly on the show because you're trying to drive people to the booth, which we will. So tell them, first of all, where to go. Is it 1613 booth at the Hub, right?
Yeah, it's the Career Pavilion, which if you're here, you'll go into the exhibit space, and you're going to take a left and go to the wall, and then take a right and go to the wall. We're in the back corner, Career Pavilion.
Well, that's not very nice to be in the back corner.
I know. They always stick us in the back. They always stick us in the back.
Well, you're young, so you got to pay your dues.
we got to earn our stripes.
That's right. All right. So let's talk about that role you play in that. And now you guys are working with the CSO program, mentoring. We have Mike Howard on here, a lot of great leaders. And a question I asked the other day, and you probably heard it, was, how do your generation view my white-haired guy sitting upstairs? Nobody's going to badmouth their boss. I get that part.
Right.
But let's make that a generalized question, because my kids, which are kind of your group, it's a different person. It's a different generation, as it always is.
Yeah.
Right? I was really surprised to talk about this lateral movement. Mm-hmm. Your generation is interested in lateral movement for success and recognition, where my generation was, I'm going to sit here for 10 years, and then they're going to call me, and I'm going to go upstairs.
So I'm a little bit of I have a soapbox, so I'm glad you're giving me my soapbox.
All right, good. Excellent.
I think it's an age-old tradition that the previous generation complains about the next generation.
Yep.
Your grandparents complained about you and your generation. And my opinion is that leaders will always emerge from the generation. Is that I'm sure I went to high school with, I went to high school with, I'm sure you went to high school with, folks that probably aren't not going to be successful in life.
Right.
But you emerged from that group. I am not a millennial, but I'm borderline millennial.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit of an outlier. I've been with FedEx for 16 years.
I know.
So I'm
look
kind
so
of
young. It's amazing.
I started when I was 22.
Okay.
I'm really fortunate. FedEx has done really well for me and my family. So, I love that company, that organization. It affords me to do things like this. But so to answer your question, I'm not sure that I represent the millennials per se, but I always look at the folks like you with reverence. My manager, my leadership is that if you can understand that whatever nut you're trying to crack, they've already cracked it. And if you could go and try...
without a computer, we cracked it.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. So, I always look at the folks that are in leadership roles with reverence, and I try to incorporate them, and I try to emulate some of the leaders. You mentioned Mike Howard. I know you interviewed Anders Noyes with Skywalker
he was
Ranch.
Great.
Isn't he awesome?
Oh, we had a coincidental investigation together. We didn't even know it 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And they'll both be on my panel. And
Excellent.
So come 4:30 this afternoon at the Career Center, I'll be moderating the panel, and we'll have Nick Levrian with Facebook. I don't know if you had a chance to chat with him.
Yeah.
He's a CSO for Facebook,
right.
And then Jim Reynolds with the Cubs baseball organization. So it's a really good opportunity for me to to moderate this panel and try to draw out some wisdom from these folks, because these are just 4 outstanding leaders in the security profession, all across various different swaths. Mike and Nick, they're in the internet space and the social media space. Nick with Facebook, Mike with Microsoft. And then you've got Jim Reynolds, who's with the Chicago baseball, so that's more of a physical security slant.
Yeah.
And then Anders Noy is kind of, he encompasses it all. He's got some, he's got the IT and the cyber risk stuff with Skywalker Ranch, and he's got that huge property, so he's got a physical security slant.
Yeah,
so
interesting mix.
Yeah, it's going to be a great session, and related to the folks that are in leadership positions. To answer your question, is you have to. embrace them. I know that there's kind of a mentality that the millennials always say, I'm coming for your job, and maybe that's the case.
Yeah, that's always been the case, though.
But, and I guess secretly you are. I mean, you hope that you have folks that have that drive, that want your job. Right. But my position is I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not getting promoted stepping on someone's back. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to come to work every day. I'm going to do the right thing. And then I think that the chips will fall as they may. And then I'll get into a leadership position. And then I'll hopefully I will have wisdom to impart to the younger folks within my organization.
Fantastic. Now, Megan and Max, I hope you're listening. That's my two kids.
Okay, good.
He used the word reverence.
Yes.
You remember that. Just saying. All right, now.
And Christopher Wray with the FBI, I was in a briefing with him. He says it's not white hair. He requires them to call it's shoot, now I screwed it up.
Well, you'll remember in a second.
Yes, I'll remember.
Let me hit on this one point you just made. Do you think there's a fear in losing the passing down of knowledge and information at this time and space in the world? Because if you looked at it at 30,000 feet, you would say, you know what? The millennials need to pass the knowledge up. Because we're the high techies, we got all this different sort of stuff, we know how to work all these fancy buttons, and you guys are old school, which is great, but now it's a new world.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's a chance that if you pass down the people part, which we have, and by the way, we have the innovation part, because our generation kind of were the guys building all this stuff and inventing it back in the day.
Sure.
What do you think about that? Because if you don't have the people part and the technology part, you don't have it all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really, really interesting point is that, I think that you guys have just as much or more to learn from your entry-level folks and your mid-level folks. Yeah. Now, intuitively,
that's kind of knowledge, though. Maybe that's not operations.
No, right. Tactical, right?
Tactical,
the tactical stuff and how to integrate. When you were talking about the two young professionals that won their seminar experience here yesterday. They talked about one of the gals. Her organization developed an app, right? And the gentleman was they constantly use apps. We've got robust computers in our pockets, and the longer that people try to resist that and say, hey, I always say, don't just say, well, I'm not a computer guy, so I'm not going to learn it. Right? I mean, just say, well, I'm going to retire in 10 years. I'm not a computer guy. You have to lean in,
that's what
right?
Happened.
To Sheryl Sandberg, right? Lean into it and embrace it, and then, like you said, reach out to the younger folks who own that space and can implement that in a tactical level. It's going to serve two purposes. It's going to inform you. It's going to teach you how to do that, but then having access, as a CSO or an executive within a security organization, to get a phone call, an entry-level millennial, to get a phone call from someone that says, "Hey, I need your help, and I appreciate your contributions to our organization." It gives them a sense of worth too, which I know the millennials really need, is a sense of worth, right?
So that's important. That's very different. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Mark Landry, FedEx.com, FedEx Freight specifically.
Yep.
Good to see you again. Great discussion.
How many interviews is this, Chuck?
Oh, we're on 40. We're going to 100.
We're going to 100 today, or no?
Just 2 more days. We're going to do 100. Yeah.
All right. Hey, you're holding up. You're doing a great job, Chuck.
I am for my old guy, right? Keep it.
I didn't say that.
I'm bringing it.
Yeah, you are.
Back in a minute here at SecurityGuideTV.com at ASIS 2017 at the ASIS Hub, booth 1613, and your booth way in the back is what? It's way in the back. Just go way in the back. Back in a minute on Security Guide TV. Thanks.